Hill TV, keeping you in the know.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أم حسب الذين اجترحوا السيئات أن نجعلهم كالذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات سواء محياهم ومماتهم ساء ما يحكمون. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. تجاري مسورة الجاثية سورة يانا متانو tumaliriza ruku eyokubiri nga tutandika ne aya 22. In the previous verses, we saw divine favors upon the Bani Israel. That Allah has a special favor to them He gave to the children of Israel divine knowledge of the book, that is Torah, He gave them sovereignty, that they were ruling over vast pieces of land, والنبوة and prophethood, and showered them with all sorts of blessings, and He exalted them above many other nations at that time. Allah gave them wisdom and ability to articulate and explain intricate issues and solve complex problems. And as long as they remained firm in their faith, they stuck together. Later on, gradually they started losing their faith, when they advanced in knowledge, they started misusing the blessings and the favors bestowed upon them by Allah the Almighty. They interpolated the book and misinterpreted the laws. The lands upon which they were ruling was awash in cruelty, mercilessness, and mismanagement. They started considering prophethood as a disfavor. And behaved arrogantly towards the prophets. They were involved in many schemes to hurt the prophets and to spoil the ways of faith. They diluted the good and pure things God had bestowed upon them. Like turning whole food into intoxicants. Grains were made sources of liquor, and wine. Other food matters also were abused into harmful substances. Making beers, wines, and all sorts of intoxicants. This is abusing good and pure things bestowed upon humanity. They started intentionally giving false explanations and intentionally misleading those who sought knowledge from them. In other words, they started hiding the truth of the knowledge and being fraudulent in their explanations. Allah says this was the result of the envy they had against each other, that whatever they had achieved was destroyed because of envy. This is a lesson to the Muslims that Allah has bestowed upon them a superior source of knowledge as compared to the Torah. Allah admonishes the Muslims, followers of the Sharia of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, readers of the Holy Qur'an, not to be like the Bani Israel, who followed their evil and wishful desires. Allah enjoins the Muslims to stick to the Sharia, stick to the truth, be focused. That way they will maintain the true and the quality standard of guidance they will receive immense mercy from Allah if they stick to the Holy Qur'an and the practice of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who was an excellent exemplar. Now in verse 22 he tells us, Am hasba alladhina ijtarahu as-sayyi'at an naj'alahum kalladhina amanu wa 'amilu s-salihat. Do those who commit evil deeds imagine that we shall make them like those who believe and do righteous deeds? Impossible. God is not a transgressor. Allah, the Almighty, does not act hypocritically. He can never, ever rank the evildoers equal to the righteous. It has never happened. In worldly matters, although the righteous also pass through a life of challenges, but their status remains high. Challenges to the evildoers spell destruction to them. But challenges to the righteous is an opportunity of elevation in spiritual ranks and status. The righteous meet the challenges, however heavy they might be. They meet these challenges with determination and in appreciation. Just like how you would see a bright student welcoming the coming of exams. Because the student knows that through such exams, his status will be elevated and he would advance from one class to another. So although believers, the righteous, also face challenges, but they do so in different panels as compared to the evildoers. as I have said, challenges to the evildoers spells destruction. Because their focus is limited on earthly gains and material achievements. The sight of the righteous is upon moral excellency and spiritual elevation in rank and status. Allah goes ahead and tells us that as for those who are evildoers, mahyahum wa mamatuhum sawa'a mahyahum wa mamatuhum. Their life and their death shall be equal. Because nothing they can contribute, either to their own advancement in the moral and spiritual status, or of the advantage of others. At one place, Allah the Almighty compares them to the beasts of the jungle, but even their status is worse than the beasts of the jungle. He says, Hum kal an'am bal hum adallu. They are just mammals, just like mammals, but they are more lost and astray and useless than the beasts of the jungle. Because we get some benefits from the mammals, from the animals. Some we use their meat, the skin is used, the bones are used. But as for the lost people, the evil ones, they are totally useless. Even the beasts of the jungle are better than them. This is what Allah here again is emphasizing. That such people, their existence amongst us or their death is equal. Because their presence and their absence is all the same. No benefit can be achieved from them. It is not a license to annihilate them, to kill them, to murder them at all. This is not what the whole Quran is saying. Why? Because no one knows his status before God or the status of the other. So, simple human being, you have no capacity to judge that this is a believer and this is a disbeliever. Simple actions are not enough to define one's spiritual status before God. Many who appear to perform what is prescribed as worship, yet their ranks before God are very low. And many are considered to be evil, yet their ranks before Allah is high. So there is no license for someone to elevate himself to the status of spiritual and moral ranks and consider others inferior and sign destruction to them. So such people who are useless remain within us. And their continuation to be among us, and their disappearance is the same. So this means somebody can stoop so low that can become so useless. This is what Allah in another point defines as asfal as-safirin. That somebody can stoop so low to the status of being the worst of the worst. Sa'a ma yahkumun. If you involve yourself in the race to judge others, and arrogate to yourself the powers to annihilate them, like what others say, that the non-believers should not be left to live, to loot their property, and destroy their things. Others says, never involve yourself in such judgment, because such judgment is evil. Assalamu alaikum.
Hill TV, keeping you in the know.